Man, I'm sick of seeing trailers for that one movie. It's called like Everything is Everything or some bullshit with that chick can't go outside. What's going on, guys? How's it going? We are live. And it's been a long time since we've done this, but this is actually the 40th episode, if you can believe it, of JA Movie News. And we got a shitstorm of movie topics that we are about to spin through from this week and a few days before this week, as well as some little tidbits of some TV show news as well. So to kind of get us cracking here, I'll work on pulling up some images here momentarily, but Ridley Scott has teased that there potentially may be 2 more Alien Covenant sequels. He said in an interview with Yahoo Movies that Ridley Scott spoke about whether the next film, possibly called Awakening, would be the end of the prequels, to which he stated, "I don't know, I'll make maybe 2 more films or maybe 1 more. I don't know." Your thoughts on that, because you've actually seen Alien Covenant and I has not. So thoughts on that?
So yeah, I did get the luxury of seeing an advanced screening for Alien Covenant. I'm not going to talk about what I thought about it because I don't want to be biased with it. But based on the way that they crafted the film, based on the way that it ended, they're absolutely going to make another one. I can't see how they wouldn't. And to be honest with you, his statement is very valid because based on how they ended it, this will be the end of the prequels. This will lead into Aliens. This will lead into something more. He really could sharpen a really longer film to make it just 1 more, or he can drag it out into 2 different parts, kind of telling like a fill in the blank kind of thing. Because there's a period of time between Prometheus and Alien Covenant. There's still undiscovered territory. And they could kind of pull like what Fast and Furious did with Tokyo Drift, with kind of like a secular prequel section, and then move forward with what happens next. Or they could just make a direct sequel. So I really think that's absolutely going to happen. And I think that the fans of the series, specifically the Aliens fans, are going to really love what he's going to do next. I don't know about the Prometheus fans, but definitely the Aliens fans are going to have their work cut out for them, what's going to happen next.
Mm-hmm. So did you like the film? you didn't say whether you liked the film or not.
I didn't. I really didn't. And yeah, oh man, I just pulled a Diane Lane just right there.
Well, I mean,
yeah, so
you get to see it like a few days early. I guess to add my thoughts really quick, I don't really know that much about Alien Covenant. I've been trying to stay a little bit coy on the details, but I mean, I think the marketing has been solid as shit. The story, the narrative seems a lot smaller than I was kind of anticipating, which is a little bit weird. But from the end of Prometheus, I thought that I don't know. I just felt like the scale would seem way larger than what the trailers are giving away. So that's a little bit odd. But other than that, I mean, the movie looks solid so far, and another sequel or 2 more does make sense. So yeah, I'm intrigued. But yeah, you didn't say if you liked the movie or not.
Okay, so I don't want to detract anybody from watching this film because I think that those that are Aliens fans will come to love this because this is very much so a slow burn. The beginning of it feels kind of like a Prometheus kind of S film, that's kind of bridging the gap between those time frames of what's going on, a philosophy is going on, and at the same time, not a lot is happening up until the very 3rd act. And the truth for me is I only gave the movie a 5 out of 10, which is very low. I actually was going into it thinking that the scale the dimensions were going to be a lot more. I actually had not high expectations, but I thought that the film could have served a lot better based on the predictability of some of the things that happened. It kind of felt kind of cookie cutter-ish, but then they tried to, play into, okay, this is the aliens. And then they try to play into, okay, this is the part of Prometheus you don't get, but you're getting this kind of like this shell of certain things that I think that the movie, from a scope standpoint, is definitely great looking. His visuals are awesome, specifically with the aliens. Like the way they craft the aliens and the way that things happen is amazing looking. The problem is that when I think about like internal story, Like when I compared this movie to something like Arrival, I can't do that. Even Prometheus, in some standpoints, like I actually like Prometheus a little bit better than this one. But that's not to say that you shouldn't check this movie out. I really think that anybody that's an Aliens fan will actually come to like this, and you have to look at it. You owe it to yourself as an Aliens fan to watch this film. That's why I don't want to put my bias on it. I just think that the film could have been crafted a lot better, personally.
Jesus Christ, 5 out of 10. This is nigga, this is not good news. Holy shit. You trying to tell me he pulled like an Exodus up in this bitch? Wow. Good God. Yeah, go.
Look, I've been trying to be quiet about it, but yeah.
Well, I mean, I think I don't know, it's weird. Like, for example, I know, like, I don't think Jeremy Johns really dug it, but like I know that Chris, for example, so I wonder if it might be a situation where it's just a little bit decisive. Maybe it's like a X-Men Apocalypse situation, which I fucking hope not. But
it kind of is gonna have to be, because if you understand the slow burn of Aliens and appreciate certain character moments, you will like it. If you know how classic some of the deaths kind of can be, you will like it. Now, what I'll say is when the deaths do happen, dude, they're gory as crap. Some of these deaths are just bonkers, but they're so predictable that there are moments that I'm like, oh, that person's about to die. Then they die. And it's like, from there, I was thinking that they were going to go more into the backstory of what's happening next. And it kind of like leaves me in this standpoint where I'm like stagnant, because there's never a point that I can pinpoint a precise protagonist. And I think that was part of the problem. Like normally, I have somebody to rally behind, and there are moments where I just really don't care. That's not to say that the actors didn't do well, because the actors do bring it. Specifically, the guy that plays Mr. Manhattan, I thought he was very serious. He was just a stupidly flawed character. But yeah, I don't like downplaying a film that much. But okay. I think you should watch it. I think if you're an Aliens fan, you might dig it, personally.
All right, so this movie doesn't come out until the tail end of next week. I guess there's a sneak peek as to what you may potentially get with Alien Covenant, I suppose. All right, so let's slide into our next topic here, which has to deal with one of my favorite actors at the current time, Mr. Ryan Gosling, and we also have Harrison Ford. We recently just got a new trailer for Blade Runner 2049. And I thought that the trailer, being directed by Denis Villeneuve, looks fucking incredible. Like, it looks literally perfect. In fact, it's actually replaced Star Wars as my most anticipated film of the year. Simply just off of this trailer. This trailer is insane. Like, I know there's been like some nitpicky criticisms that like the visual aesthetic is a little bit cleaner, I suppose, or smoother than the original film, but I think this is like some OCD level nitpicking. This is a fantastic looking sequel to the original 1982 film. It's one of my favorite films of all time, and we got to look at Jared Leto in here, and just little nuggets of information about the plots. It's not entirely coherent to me. Like, you know, I'm not sure if we're gonna get into the whole Deckard, replicant thing, but I think it looks fantastic. What did you think about well, first off, you haven't seen the original.
Exactly.
So I'm curious on your thoughts of the sequel, but at the same time, you have not seen the original. So for me, I can't imagine having watched this trailer without seeing the original. So your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I've yet to actually look at the original Blade Runner. I don't know how I did that, which I've seen every Harrison Ford film minus this one, which is crazy. And then I love Ridley Scott, but I've just never seen the film. And so when I watched the trailer, I was worried. I was like, man, this movie is just going to be a big spoiler of the first one. But personally, I didn't feel that way. I actually felt like this is a very engaging story. I thought that everybody brought it in terms of their acting tone. It looked like, man, what Ghost in the Shell should have been in so many different ways. I felt like tonally, it brought it. Science fiction wise, it brought it. Bringing me intrigued. I was like, I didn't have to watch the first one now. Just watching the trailer, I thought it was a spectacle in and of itself from a visual standpoint. And then just from me being intrigued, even Jared Leto, like I was like, who is this dude? Like, I don't know who his character is, what he plays into this, but I thought that it was great. What is the connection between Ryan Gosling's character and Harrison Ford's? They look like they're very intricately connected, not just from them being some kind of form of police, but something deeper than that. And that's just what I got to pull out of the trailer. I thought the trailer was great. But yeah, this makes me want to buy Blade Runner, not just watch it. And that's why I've actually held off on getting it, because I'm going to actually order it from Amazon and buy it.
Yeah, you should watch Blade Runner stats. It's actually still my favorite Blu-ray all time. It's a little bit tricky because there's so many different versions of the film, even though personally I would just recommend watching the final cut version of the film first and then work your way back if you want to. It's just my personal opinion. I think that's the best one. But yeah, it's the best Blu-ray I've ever seen. And one thing that I love about the images from the film, where I'm not 100% sure on what exactly in terms of hyper specifics is happening in the plot, but one thing I love is that it feels like the world is back and it's fully realized like it was before. And I know there's been a lot of practical effects and practical sets pushed into this film pretty heavily, more so than just plastering CGI everywhere, which shows. So I can't. Oh man, it looks it's like a dream come true or some shit. Like it's so weird. Because I love Sicario and Enemy and Prisoners and Arrival and so on. So I think he should do a pretty perfect job. He's set to direct an upcoming Dune reboot or sequel or something to do with Dune in the future, assuming he hasn't died from making Blade Runner. So but outside of that, yeah, I don't know if you had any other thoughts on Blade Runner, but it's my most anticipated film of the year for sure.
Yeah, I actually really love the director as well. One movie I haven't seen from his is called Enemy with Jake Gyllenhaal. I've actually really wanted to see that, but I loved most of the films that he's made. Like I thought were just top notch. But I'm curious, like, what is your perception of Jared Leto's character? Even though I don't know anything about, the first movie, what is your perception of him in this as, I guess, the villain? Or
I have no idea. I'm not really sure. I think that Ryan Gosling should 100% be portraying a replicant, or which is like a robot or a cyborg. But
okay.
So yeah, I don't think that Ryan Gosling is human whatsoever, personally. Okay. But Jared Leto, I haven't got the slightest fucking idea. It almost seems like he may sort of be tied to Ryan Gosling and like a boss figure, or Ryan Gosling's working for Jared Leto. I'm not entirely sure. It also seems like Jared Leto is maybe the reason why Deckard, Harrison Ford's character, is potentially being hunted down, but I'm not entirely sure. I didn't even watch the trailer that many times because Blade Runner's one of my favorite films like that I've ever seen, period. So I don't want to like have a full grasp of the plot. I want it to be a bit hazy, so I'm kind of fresh when I go in to watch it. But so yeah, I'm not sure, but the fact that he's in the film is good enough. It's good enough for me. I'm good enough there. But the next thing I wanted to get into was we also got a brand new trailer for Dunkirk from Christopher Nolan, which I believe should be his 10th film, if I'm not mistaken. And it's the second trailer, and I thought it was good. I thought it was a pretty great trailer, but this definitely, in terms of his recent films, this is definitely like his weakest marketing yet for me personally. Not that the movie looks bad, it's just that I don't think there's that level of I don't think there's like a Dark Knight or Dark Knight Rises or Inception or Interstellar level hype. But I think the film should be masterful. It's just that the marketing isn't at that hype level as it was for the previous films. But I thought this latest trailer was great, but there is that one catch for me personally. For example, it's Dunkirk's been made by my favorite living director, but Dunkirk is not my most anticipated film of the year. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So yeah, thoughts on the latest trailer and on that?
Yeah, I think that the movie is being marketed in two different positions. I think that they're trying to market it based on the visuals, the practicals, and the devotion to the craft in and of itself. I think that's what they're trying to market it off of. You know how like normal trailers, it's like the spectacle, like, oh, we got this one wow scene. Oh, wow, we got this one intrigue. I don't know what the story's about. Like, this is very much so playing right in front of you. And when you watch the trailer, either you're going to be intrigued by it from just a visual immersion standpoint or an historical standpoint. And I think the other side of this is that they're trying to market this from Oscar potential. I think that Nolan wants to get an Oscar, and he's long overdue personally. But I think that that's the reason why this is kind of like not being heavily marketed. Like, I think the movie Room, like that was not heavily marketed at all. But everybody, when they saw it from word of mouth, from critics all around, they were like, this is that movie. And this is that acclaimed moment. And I think that they're trying to do that with this. The only thing is with this one is I'm intrigued to see who's going to be the standout. Based on the trailers, I can't assess that. I have no idea who would the standout actually be. Rayleigh doesn't look like he's a standout. Even like, Tom Hardy doesn't look like the standout. I really don't know. I feel like this is more just the movie trying to be marketed off from its spectacle and for potential Oscar standing. I think that's the reason why they're doing that, which is sad because less people are going to be approaching to see it until it's finally actually there. So I mean, I understand it though. I guess it depends on the kind of crafted movie. And this one, a lot of people just don't know what this is even about. So
yeah, I don't know that he's trying to necessarily make an Oscar bait film. I don't really know that he ever has tried to do that. But I think, and I'm not saying like the marketing is weak in the sense that like it's not being spread around enough. I don't think that at all, especially since that one guy that unfortunately I honest to God don't really know. His name's like Harry something. He's like from some popular band like One Direction or some shit. I'm not trying to like bullshit. I just honestly don't really know anything about him except for like he's just like a popular singer or something. But either way, so no, I don't think like getting people's attention is necessarily an issue. I just don't know that the marketing is really hyping people up like an Interstellar or Dark Knight Rises for me personally. And the story is, I mean, it's pretty well known, but maybe it's not like as universally known as like Cinderella or some shit. But I mean, it's a pretty big moment in history. One thing I will say though is that the film. Can you see this image on my screen right now? By the way,
yeah, I can see it.
But I think that like the filmmaking in it looks spectacular. Like I honestly, if there was CGI in this trailer, I didn't notice a single shot that was CGI. I could like point to things where I could like take a blind guess, like some aerial shots where maybe there was some CGI tampering, but I didn't notice any, which was startling. Granted, Christopher Nolan always has practical effects, but it's always noticeable when CGI is on the screen. It's usually just really, really fucking good. Here, I don't recall seeing that one moment. Like in this shot right here, it legitimately looked like this goddamn ship was like like a full-size ship was actually sinking. Yeah. Literally. So I'm confused. The whole film seems freakishly real. So there's nothing wrong with the filmmaking. I just think the trailers aren't having that sort of punch for me personally, but maybe it's because the movie is just gonna be so great. I don't know. You said that you saw the IMAX footage that was like a sizzle reel of a few minutes. Did you want to talk about that for a moment? Because I didn't see that.
Yeah, the sizzle reel. I think there's certain places on YouTube you can find it, but I'll put it to you this way: just looking at, I guess it was 5 or 6 minutes of the film, I knew immediately I had to see it. And that's not even just from the standard, the story or intrigued by it, like the sound design, the richness of every practical effect I actually saw, the way that I was sitting there watching this, I was like, this looks real. This legit actually looks real. And I felt moments, because of the sound design, moments of dread. There's a moment where, everybody's on the beach, they're in this encampment, and all of a sudden somebody says, duck and cover. And all of a sudden you don't hear nothing. And everybody's looking around. And then they start to duck when they hear like this loud whomp coming. Whomp, 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 whomp. And all of a sudden it hits. and then that's when this stops. I was like, yo, this is gonna be amazing. So, I mean, just from that, if they would have released that instead of a trailer, I think that there'll be no dispute. Like, you have to see this. But at the same time, in a movie setting, I think it's gonna be very important to watch this in IMAX. I think this is gonna be one of those ones where, kind of like, I guess, Interstellar, you have to experience in the IMAX film.
Oh yeah. Seeing Interstellar in 70mm film was like a life-changing event for me. Pretty kind of literally. But all right, so on to the next topic here. Let's slide into a little bit of TV news because it's been announced that there's going to be a Deadpool animated series co-created by Donald Glover, which is going to land at FXX. So it looks like the untitled show has been given a straight to series order with a 10-episode first season expected to debut in 2018. This one kind of caught me off guard. This was like such a left field news, but I don't know. I mean, is he gonna potentially be voicing like Deadpool on the animated series? I don't know. Your takeaway?
Yeah, I think that I think he's gonna be producing or directing it. I think that this is one of those projects where he definitely want to be involved. The thing is that, if I'm not mistaken, he's already gonna be the voice of Miles Morales for the Sony animated Spider-Man film. Because basically, after they come out with Homecoming, they're coming out with an animated film that I thought that he was gonna be the voice actor. Maybe I'm wrong. Because he's involved in so much now. He's gonna be the voice of Simba. I mean, he's Emmy nominated. I mean, the dude is he's blowing up right now. But I think that if I had to assess, he'd probably be directing / producing it so he can be more hands-on. I doubt that they would make him the voice of Deadpool. I just don't know why, but that is my first instinct. But if he did do the voice of Deadpool, I mean, the dude can act his butt off. Like, I mean, it'd be very interesting to see what that would actually look like. But I don't know, man. I have not even taken the time to even think in a process, like, what if he actually was, voicing Deadpool? But yeah,
because I mean, I don't know. It's kind of insane that he's going to be one of the big producers on this thing, but it would be pretty insane if he did voice Deadpool, though. That would be pretty nuts. Yeah. Maybe not, but it seems like a wasted opportunity though, to not have him do that. That's not the case, but I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that would turn me though is if Ryan Reynolds legit was like, and I'm actually doing the voice acting. Like, if they did that, I'd be like, all right, go for it. Do whatever the heck you want, especially unrated. Like, imagine the commentary of certain things that they could do with animation versus real life. Dude, that mess would be insane. If specifically Ryan Reynolds, was voice acting it and they actually had Donald Glover going and doing the producing and involving whatever he wanted to with it. That'd be nuts.
Yeah, I don't know. It's also an animated series. It kind of, for some reason, I'm getting that Archer show in mind. Isn't that on? I think that's on FX.
Yeah, that's on.
Maybe it is on FX.
It's now on FXX. It used to be just on FX, but they try to get more people to go to FXX or whatever. But yeah, I love Archer, man. Archer's awesome.
Yeah, that's one show I have never watched and probably won't. But on to the next topic here. We have some information on upcoming new X-Men film already, even though this one's like way different though. Apparently this is the long-awaited Fox X spin-off film, New Mutants, which we have some casting information on. Looks like we have Anya Taylor-Joy, the star of The Witch and Split, and Game of Thrones. Maisie Williams have signed on to star in the film, being directed by Josh Boone. And it would appear that it has a release date of April 13th, 2018 for this film. which, let's see, will focus on the angst-driven adventures of a diverse group of teens. Let me see, of mutants, and also there will be an alien named Warlock in the mix. So yeah, your thoughts on this? Have you heard about this this new X-Men film that's just coming?
Yes.
Like kind of a spinoff.
Yeah, I actually have heard it like a year ago. They were pitching it when Deadpool was on the height of success, where they definitely wanted to go into X-Force, and they were like, okay, now that we've kind of rounded out everything with the X-Men, what do we do moving forward? Then they were like New Mutants, and like personally, for them to get both of those actors, like Anya Taylor-Joy specifically, to go into New Mutants, they're going in uncharted territory, because honestly, they could do so much with this. Like, I think that this has the potential of being its own new mini franchise. And I think that that's the best thing they could do, not getting rid of everything that was old, but moving forward progressively. Specifically after now, like we technically have a new Wolverine in, forgot her name, X-23. But at the same time, now you have the existing, at this present time, Deadpool and X-Force, Cable. New Mutants would be amazing, because honestly, like that is his own kind of like industry, even separate from Marvel, even though they're definitely connected in the comics. There's so many stories to tell with the New Mutants that I think that they did a great job in picking both of these amazing actresses. I'm just curious to see how defined it's going to be and who's going to direct it.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious. I don't know. It's weird for me because I mean, I love X-Men, but I don't know that. I feel like Logan is like the first and last X-Men film that I saw that was like truly, truly great as a film, like a live action film. Like all the other X-Men films, like there's some that I hated, there's some that I thought were really good, but Logan was the only one that I thought was like a truly excellent cinematic X-Men film, which is kind of a problem since X-Men cinematic films have been around for like 15 years now or something crazy.
Yeah,
or more than that. So I don't know. So I guess I'm not like jumping up and down with joy about this upcoming film, because I mean, I don't know. I just haven't seen an X-Men film with the group or a group of mutants that I thought was like a 9 or a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Except for Logan.
Yeah,
that was a pretty small, character list in that film.
Yeah, I guess I could add more context for anybody that doesn't even know about the New Mutants. I mean, technically, they're the first graduated class of the Xavier Institute. So people that were personal trainers of the New Mutants, depending on what era they go in, Cable, Professor X, Magneto, and then they have members that were comprised of Domino, like Blink. So different people that are part of the future, they could directly be tied into this. And even when they ended Logan with those kids, those kids that kind of ran off, dude, they could literally go and take some of those kids over to the New Mutants. I think that progressively they did a really good job with that. But if they go back and they use like a younger generation, they could easily bring back, James McAvoy, and they could even bring back, Michael Fassbender. There's so many different ways they could pull it. But there's so many people that are connected to the New Mutants. I think that is just shy of being very different, but could be very intriguing. But definitely go, if you want to read more information on, go to Wikipedia. You can find out more about the New Mutants. I'd recommend definitely checking it out.
Yeah, do you think they're setting up to just straight up reboot everything they sort of started with the X-Men cinematic universe? You think they're just going to hit the reset button?
I think that they are, because of the way they rounded out Logan, the way that they now have a new rally behind Deadpool, the way that even the first Deadpool had these amazing, just 2 X-Men that were better than most of the X-Men that we've had, that we supposed to love. So I really feel like, yes, they are. I think that the next Deadpool is going to have people like Cable, Domino, and I think they're going to intriguingly give us some other X-Men that are involved, because the budget's going to be different. And I think that even with the franchise in general, they're just going to have to make a change, because now they're on the way up, not down like they used to be. So Oh, and the Dark Phoenix saga. That's about the actually. We finally actually getting the real Dark Phoenix saga.
True.
So I think that they're making moves for sure.
Okay. And yeah, outside of that, I think we'll probably slide into the next topic here, which has to deal with Jurassic World 2, which is coming up here soon. And Jeff Goldblum has been confirmed to return as Dr. Ian McKellen. I know he spoke a little bit about teasing the role with Entertainment Weekly. Let me see here. Looks like he's going to be off in a few weeks to London, where I think they may be filming sometime soon after that, I think. But either way, what do you think about Jeff Goldblum actually returning for the Jurassic World and the sequel? Personally, I mean, I liked the sequel, but I didn't think it was like sort of worth the insane box office success that it had. But I thought it was okay. I thought it was a likable film, but it wasn't anything like exceptional or a huge improvement over the second or first film by any stretch. But I thought it was good. I thought it was a passable film. I'm just blown away by its box office success. That was totally left field. And now there's a full-blown sequel coming. It's so bizarre. But it is cool that Jeff Goldblum is coming back. It's just, I didn't think that the first one is exceptional. I'm not really like hyped for the sequel, but I'm kind of curious about it. What are your thoughts?
It's funny for me. I actually really enjoyed Jurassic World. I think that there is, I think in general culture, like this intrigue about the unknown of our past, specifically the prehistoric era. Like I don't know too many people that don't like dinosaurs or intrigued by how fascinating, that era and time was. To bring it in this modern age, like it's its own hard genre in and of itself, where we don't have that many movies where it's just about the prehistoric or about, dinosaurs. I think the Jurassic Park was that first one, and ever since then people have been waiting to have more, and I think they were very let down with the third one, so that when Jurassic World came out, they were like, okay, we finally got a real third film that wasn't just this regurgitated version of the originals. And I think that definitely, to your point, it's not better than the first one, but to me it could be debatable. It might be better than the second one, even though the second one has some really awesome performances. I think that Chris Pratt, and Bryce Dallas Howard, they've got some interesting chemistry. The kids in Jurassic World, I actually really enjoyed them. To have Jeff Goldblum, my worry is they might have another Independence Day situation where they get rid of something, replace it with somebody else, and then it's just not a good film. If this film is actually good and capitalizes on the faults of this Jurassic World, then I'm all for it. But either way, I'm going to go to the movie theaters just to see some dinosaurs. You know what I'm saying? I want to see them wreck some stuff. I want to see some new hybrids, So I'm intrigued, just like probably most of the general population is like, all right, let's get another Jurassic Park movie. And I think that's really why so many people went to it. They were like, wow, I can't believe it's not a bad film. I wanted to look at it again and again. And that's what I think that's really what a lot of people did. They went and saw it. I saw it like this twice myself. And I didn't even think it was, that promising, but I was like, I had fun with it. And I think that's the reason why everybody's excited for this one. But I don't know much about this Jay Bayona as a director. I don't know anything that he's directed good. So, he did direct The Orphanage though. Ooh, that was a good movie.
But gotcha. I think I saw that film actually, if I'm not mistaken. But again, I'm not like really hyped about the sequel to Jurassic World 2, but I think it should be enjoyable. Well, the fact that it has Jeff Goldblum in it is enjoyable for me. And if we could see some more Pratt Velociraptor whispering, that would be pretty fantastic as well. That was actually one of my main draws of seeing Jurassic World, was him like with a squad of Velociraptors attacking people, which didn't exactly happen, which I'm surprised by. Nor did he ride a Velociraptor, which I think was a missed opportunity. But I think the sequel should be a lot of fun. Just what the fuck? Real quick though, I never understood the chick who was running in heels the whole movie. You remember that?
Oh, you talking about Bryce Dallas Howard?
Yeah, that shit was just bananas. I was like, between barefoot or high heels, I was just like, what is going on? Someone get this one with some tennis shoes. But anyways, moving past that. So I wanted to talk about some more TV show news because we got a teaser trailer for the Inhumans ABC show coming out in September, which a couple episodes or maybe even more are actually going to be screened in IMAX, which is fucking insane. But so instead of MCU film, we're getting a TV series on ABC, which all right, that was an unexpected direction. But Inhumans, I actually had to brush up my comic book history because I wasn't really that aware of the group before they were announced in MCU. I know that the show centered around the Inhuman royal family trying to escape to Hawaii, where they must save themselves and the world. And we have Black Bolt and Medusa and all that. But some of this, like Black Bolt, his voice can cause destruction with the slightest whisper. One character who lives underwater. It's or Lockjaw as well. This is some weird fucking territory here. So I'm not exactly sure what to expect, especially since I am not a fan of ABC whatsoever. I think literally the only show I've ever followed on that channel is like Lost, and that's probably about it. But your thoughts on Inhumans?
So I think that the Inhumans, I'm gonna show you guys a picture real quick because to your point, talking about like his capability and his power, the guy that is Black Bolt, I thought that them actually even bringing his character to life is crazy. Just by him whispering a word, he can cause destruction of an entire city. And if he actually vocally says something just a small bit, that he could destroy a whole area. And this is him going up against Thanos. And this, if you want to see a dope fight, like check out his capability of his power. I think that for them actually having this group, I think what they should do personally, in my opinion, they should do definitely a TV series to get people acclimated with it. But I think they should still do a movie. I thought that them doing the movie was an interesting approach, but then they brought in so many other characters they wanted to weave in. I understand it. If this show is good, if it is gritty, then I will rally behind it. I think that visually is going to be dope. There's certain things with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like visually it looks amazing, but I just hate Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I looked at the first season, I was like, no. I didn't start watching it again until they brought Ghost Rider up there, and they showed me, you know, the prospect of the Inhumans, and I noticed that they were completely tied into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If these Inhumans are tied to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I'm for it, because I think that they've got a good enough cast that they could do it. But I worry about the costume design. I worry about them kind of downplaying the capabilities. I worry about the fact that these can't even be considered, the word mutant can't even be brought up in the MCU universe at all. Not even just in the TV shows, but even in the movies. So there are certain things that I feel like they're not going to be able to really do cosmically that these characters are capable of, the real royal family. So, I mean, there's a lot of brushing up I got to do too. But I'm excited to see what they're going to do with it. I just worry it's not going to be that good.
Yeah, I do worry about them sugarcoating things because like Lockjaw, for example, is a fucking dog, in case you were unaware.
Yeah.
And it's just like this big ass, like almost supernatural seeming bulldog.
Yeah.
With superpowers. So I don't know how the fuck are they gonna make this work. Like, this is some weird we're getting to some weird territory here with Inhumans. So yeah, I am sort of afraid that they might sort of downplay the insane wacky aspects of these characters visually and how they use their powers, but I don't know. It is intriguing that like there's gonna be some episodes screened in IMAX. That gives me some hope that they're bringing like an epic scale to the show at least.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at the cast at all. So I don't know if there's anyone there that I would recognize or if they're just unknowns or something. But
the guy from Game of Thrones. What is his name? Do you know? You know what I'm talking about, right? The guy that played. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. His character just died.
I do not. I'll have to pull up a cast photo again.
Let me pull this
up. The cast again
right now. First,
hold on a second, people.
Yeah, give us a second, everybody.
I gotta see what these fools look like. I saw a cast photo before, but it was just like a brief glance.
Here you go. I got it.
The guy plays Ramsey?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here it is, you guys. Like him, and then the Asian guy that was in The Dark Knight. The guy in the middle, I swear, I can't remember what he's known for. I thought it was Hell on Wheels, if I'm not mistaken.
Yo, that was one nerdy fucking photo, man. Of that cast. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's I don't know. They don't look like a royal family.
Well, I mean, I think they look like a royal family, sort of like a bizarre cosmic. Like if they were in Guardians, I think I would accept them as royalty visually looking, but it just looks so left field. I'm really curious about like what the traffic is going to be on a show like this, the viewership, because I think to like just a casual MCU lover, I don't know, man.
I don't know. Like compared to this picture right here, it's just I don't know. It's like I feel like they're kind of holding back what the look could have been. And it might change. It might be liable to change. He might have a whole different suit. I think the Black Bolt, if his was just completely as is and he has the mask and everything, I'm all for it. If he keeps like this, I'm going to have a problem. And I think that most of the fan base will probably have a problem. But if they change it up and they go all in, then I don't know. We'll see. It's funny, though, because I think that they're still going to do a Inhumans film. Because Vin Diesel still hasn't said he's disconnected from that. Because initially Vin Diesel was supposed to be Black Bolt. So I don't know if they're completely gone from that or not.
Which I thought actually sounded pretty dope. I can't lie. Vin Diesel being Black Bolt. The whole concept that like if he starts shouting, he'll just start breaking the world apart and shit. I'm really curious to see how that would look. I feel like they're not gonna make an MCU film, at least not anytime soon. I could be totally wrong, but I felt like they sort of just dropped the ball on an MCU film into a TV series, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you guys think that because we got all this other shit we're busy with."
Yeah,
but I guess you never know. And then the last topic I want to get into before I see if you guys had any, see if we have any subscriber user questions from you guys was that it was announced that there's going to be 4 Game of Thrones spin-off films in development with HBO, and even without getting into any nitty-gritty details, which there probably isn't that many to begin with, I don't like it personally. And Game of Thrones is actually my favorite show all time currently, but I don't like it. I don't like it whatsoever. It's kind of like what they're doing with Better Call Saul, which granted, Better Call Saul actually has a I don't know about a huge fan base, but its fan base is just insanely in love with Better Call Saul. Personally, I'm not a fan of the show. There's nothing wrong with Better Call Saul, but it's just not a show for me. I'm not a prequel person personally, or I'm definitely not a fan of like when a franchise gets really big and then it's ending. They're like, fuck, what do? We do, oh, spinoffs, bam, then we keep the blood pumping. Like I'm not really a big fan of that. So they would have to do a lot for me to just be engrossed in these spinoff shows as much as I was engrossed in the initial show from season 1 through 8. But what are your thoughts on potential spinoff series from Game of Thrones?
It's very strange to me. I personally, just thinking about it, just sounds stupid. I don't think it's a good idea. Like, Game of Thrones is so epic of a series. It's like, it feels like, all right, I'm going to spin this off, and there's no way possible that it can really work. It's like when I think about, Arrow that made a spinoff that was The Flash, and then The Flash which made a spinoff which was Legend of Tomorrow. That was progressional. That's not to downplay Arrow. It's not to say it was really bad. First few seasons was actually really good, but it was progressional. It's like, okay, there's this other character we can rally behind. You know what I'm saying? That will flush out. That will work. But then you think about like The Walking Dead, what they did, Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead. Now, I might be hurting some people. I ain't gonna say nothing bad about Fear the Walking Dead, but it's not reached that potential that they really wanted.
Shit, I will. Season 2 ain't that great, but go on.
But like, people really wanted something more. They wanted there to be a connection to the world. You know what I'm saying? There's yet to be a real connection, technically, after 3 seasons to the original Walking Dead series. So it's like, people don't have anything to rally behind. And I think that with Game of Thrones, like, this is one of the best shows of all time. Like, maybe debatable, like you could say Breaking Bad, but even with Breaking Bad, what they did with Better Call Saul, they kept characters that you can rally behind that still have an intriguing story. Like, when they brought back Gus, you know what I'm saying, for Better Call Saul, I was like, oh, okay, take my money. I'll watch you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't see that coming. But with this, it's like, this is the end. I don't care to watch these characters when they're younger. Like, this is its own show, and they worked to it, and they worked and grinded. Like, some of the productions of this show could have been on film. You know what I'm saying? So I really feel like that's just doing a show a disservice to try to spin it off, just to keep it going, just to keep ratings going. I'm not behind it at all. I think it's a really bad idea, personally.
I mean, I guess in defense of this spinoff announcement, I mean, I don't think it's confirmed whether this is going to be prequels or sequels that we'd be getting from this. But so, I mean, I guess there is that, but it just does seem, I don't know, it does seem to be kind of like a milking situation. They're just trying to hold on to Westeros for all the dollar bills potentially. But I don't know. It just, I feel like when season 8 ends, that should be the last that we see from a TV show, Game of Thrones, like, ever, unless you're coming with something that's like tied to the Game of Thrones world that is equivalent or better than seasons 1 through 8. I say we just let it go, personally.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah. But outside of that, that was the main gist of the movie news and little tidbits of TV show news that I want to sort of dive in here. I don't think anyone had any particular questions at the current time, so I think that's about all I got for this week's podcast. Anyways, any, I guess, final thoughts?
Shoot, man, nah. Next week, Alien Covenant's coming out. This week, you got King Arthur. Definitely go and try to check out both films. Try to figure out if you enjoy them yourself. There's a lot coming up soon. We got Wonder Woman coming up. There was officially some screenings that happened last night, I think. So I think that the review's gonna be coming out really soon. I think that they just posted up the tickets for sale. So I think what I'm going to do on my channel, I might actually do like a giveaway for some tickets for certain movies. I think I want to do one for that, and I want to do one for Spider-Man whenever the tickets come up for that. So I'm going to try to do some giveaways pretty soon. But definitely, man, there's a lot of movies coming out. We're going to be definitely talking about a lot. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Leave your questions in the comment section.
Yeah, we're still trying to experiment with how we're trying to bring the JA movie news back from the dead. Yeah, next week should be interesting. I'm looking forward to Alien Covenant, even though the reviews are like extremely mixed, which I'm really confused about. Like, I'm not sure what went wrong. I thought the trailers were all really good.
Yeah, they
Again,
were.
my only issue is that I just the film just seemed so small, narrative wise, which I thought was weird. Because at the end of Prometheus, I was like, holy shit, are we about to see like Ridley Scott's version of like a super rated R gory Avatar or something like that? Like, this should be insane, but instead it just seems like Alien Covenant just seems like this small indie film, I suppose.
Yeah.
Which I suppose is good, because usually that's where you get like great character studies and plot structures like that. But
wow.
So I don't know, but I'm still looking forward to it though, because he's one of my favorite directors. And usually I don't know that. Usually when he touches sci-fi, it's gold. So I guess we'll see what happens. What else comes out next week, film-wise?
Besides Alien Covenant, I don't. Hold on. It's funny though.
That was the only.
I think that's the only big thing. But thinking about what you just said, you know what? I think that there should have been a Prometheus 2 before this movie came out, and I think I probably would have. Never mind. I'm not gonna say anymore. Just watch it yourself, you guys. I'll talk to you about it separately. But
isn't Alien Covenant a sequel to Prometheus?
It is, but there's a lot. I don't want to say. There's a lot that I think that
I don't know. I was under the impression that Covenant was a direct sequel to Prometheus, unless I missed something.
It is, but I don't know if it's. There's still a lot that you just don't. Anyway, I don't want to say anything. We'll talk about this separately. All right. I think that stupid Baywatch film is what's coming up soon. I think that's about it.
Already?
Yeah, I think it's coming out either next week or the 25th. I'm not really sure which. But
Jesus Christ. All right. Well, anyways, I think that's all we got. I think we're gonna close out here. So if you guys enjoyed this video, let us know down below. Definitely make sure to smash that like button and subscribe as well. I'll have his channel information down below, and let us know your thoughts on our speculation and your thoughts on this week's movie news and TV shows that we brought up. But other than that, clocking out.
Peace, guys. Peace.